The People's Progressive Party is bitterly unhappy and, from all indications, will remain unhappy with the president's unilateral decision to appoint retired Judge James Patterson to head the Guyana Elections Commission. In fact, the PPP has already approached the High Court requesting that Justice Patterson's appointment be declared null and void, citing that Mr. Patterson was a pallbearer at President Hoyt's funeral and a member of the PNCR's Facebook page.
We have not, as a country, for the past 25 years, witnessed anything of the kind, and that it would have grave implications for our future, for the well-being of this country, for the democracy that we live in, for the freedoms that we had enjoyed in the past, and that this seems to be the first shot in a path that would lead to rigged elections.
Mr. Jagdeo said that the PPP is very afraid at this time, given the history of election rigging in Guyana. He said that his party could never accept this decision for what it is, and no Guyanese should.
This is just the beginning of a road towards the denial of free and fair elections. And that is why we have to start fighting it as a country, not as a PPP, but as all freedom-loving people. We have to fight this undemocratic, unconstitutional act with all of our might to ensure that we don't go down that route.
Political scientists have argued that constitutionally, the president's decision is above board, but that in the spirit of good faith, he should have held wider consultations. They argued that Mr. Jagdeo was all along setting up the president to appoint someone unilaterally to prove a case. The president said last week that the process could not go on at the whims and fancies of Mr. Jagdeo.
This is not about race. This is not about even the history. This is about the breach and the break from a tradition we've had in this country for 25 years, with all the contention between the PNC and the PPP in our society, the turmoil that we've had. We had a common understanding of how this constitutional provision, this constitutional clause and article was to be interpreted.
The opposition leader said his party will be raising this issue with every major city of the world. He said the PPP will be forming a group to look at ways of how an election can be rigged so as to safeguard future elections. Royd and James, HGP Nightly News.